Welcome back. Today is the deadline for Congresswoman Ilhan Omar to turn over documents to Minnesota's House Fraud Prevention Committee. They're investigating the $250 million Feeding Our Future fraud scheme. At issue, Omar's alleged communications with the people tied to the scandal. The case's mastermind, Amy Bach, now convicted, awaiting sentencing. Defendants billed the government, as a reminder, for meals that were never provided through existing restaurants and sham companies. And court exhibits show Omar's name appeared in several emails with Bach. One of those, entitled Ilhan's Office, was also a text chain involving Ilhan Omar. Now, roll back to 2018, Omar's victory party. That was at a Minneapolis restaurant, the Safari restaurant. The owner also caught up in the fraud scheme, convicted on 21 counts. Omar did, in fact, receive campaign donations of more than $7,000 from 3 defendants in the case. Her office says that money has now been donated to charity. There are also questions about Omar's finances, a massive swing in reported net worth. The Wall Street Journal says an Omar disclosure filed last year showed she and her husband had assets of between $6 million and $30 million. And that's a massive rise in wealth from her previous annual filings. An amended filing since then, viewed by the Wall Street Journal, shows the couple's assets have been adjusted down to $18,000, somewhere in that range to $95,000. They don't require exact values. Now, Fox directly asked Omar about that change in her net worth, and she had nothing to say.
Could you tell us about your net worth dropping down to about $100,000?
The whole thing.
Could you just elaborate on what mistake was made, Congresswoman? What mistake was made on your financial disclosure forms to bring it down to $100,000 from up to $30 million? Just want to give you a chance to clear it up.
Fox Digital reporting that much of that value was tied to 2 companies. One, her husband's business, a venture capital firm that jumped from near zero to as much as $25 million in a year. The other, a California winery, surging from tens of thousands to millions in the same time frame. That winery has since been shut down. Omar was pressed on all of this last month on The Breakfast Club.
They're not net worths. They're like the asset things for the companies. And so I don't know what percentage of it my husband actually has investment in. That's not, you know what I mean? It's not a full picture of the numbers in the way that it is presented in the document, because in the documents, we have to do ranges and we have to report in a way that is not detailed. It's not like your tax return that you're submitting for the public record to see.
But that is a big increase, though. So you could understand why people would ask questions.
Yeah. But I'm pretty sure it'll get adjusted at some level when those ranges are looked at.
Why are they being adjusted so far up and far down? Of course, there's also allegations surrounding her brother. President Trump likes to bring it up.
Ilhan Omar. She comes here from Somalia, and she tells us how to run the United States of America. She says, the Constitution gives me certain rights, and I demand that I be given these rights. Get the hell out, what a phony. I believe she married her brother, which is totally illegal. Although it's a lovely couple, actually, but it's a little bit on the illegal side. Darling, I love you very much. Good night, brother. Let's go to bed. Good night. Isn't she despicable? I can't stand watching.
Omar's spokesperson has called those accusations absurd, disgusting, and offensive in the past. We reached out again on these allegations, but have not gotten a response. Minnesota State Representative Walter Hudson joins me now. Representative, thanks for being with us here today. Let's walk through a couple of these together. Let's start with the Minnesota fraud scheme and her deadline to turn over documents. Will it reveal any further connections between her and the fraudsters?
Well, it potentially could if she actually turned those documents over. Apparently she has not. And that's not surprising, of course. She knows that the subpoena power that we have as a committee requires one of the House Democrats here in the state of Minnesota to put up a vote in order to subpoena her. And she knows that her friends are going to protect her. And so we're in a situation here where both she individually and the Democrat Party collectively in the state is defying the very justified expectation of the people of this state and the people of the United States to account for all of these red flags that indicate that she was very likely entwined in the billions of dollars of fraud that we've seen here in our state.
Why does her net worth fluctuate so wildly?
I mean, look, you can only speculate, right? There's not a benign and innocent explanation for it. I don't know how you make a 6-digit, 7-digit error in your reporting from one year to another. And what we have seen, listen, in terms of the investigations, the prosecutions, the indictments that have come forward involving all of this fraud that we've seen a pattern of money transferring overseas. There's been a lot of attention on the Minneapolis-St. Paul airport, suitcases full of cash flying overseas. You seem to find a lot of foreign money currency exchange businesses in direct proximity to a lot of these organizations and businesses that have been accused or suspected of being involved in fraudulent activity. So one can only imagine where those millions of dollars that Ilhan Omar apparently thought she had and then decided she didn't actually ended up.
Or never did have, or ended up, as you point out, not actually on her balance sheet. There's a lot of questions about her net worth and where all this money is and isn't, as there is, by the way, about her marriage. Walter Hudson, thanks so much for being with us here today.
Happy to be